the Super NES Classic Editions and its super short cord controllers. Don't you just wish that sometimes you can like play your original Super Nintendo controller on this thing? Because this little thing doesn't really do the job. So, what to do? Don't you just wish that it can play your original Super Famicom controller with these nice color buttons? Or how about your original Super Nintendo controller with these long ass wires? Wouldn't that be nice? How about the very awesome fighter pad that we got reviewed a long time ago? Wouldn't it be nice to play this on the Super NES Classic Edition? That would be even better, huh? You get your turbo buttons, you get all your 6 face buttons along with the L and R shoulder buttons. That makes it the perfect controller for Street Fighters in here. So yeah, that would be very, very good. But there's no way you can plug this big ass thing here into those tiny little control cords, or the one inside. So what to do, huh? Well, I found a solution. And the solution is this thing. So this product is brought to me by Hyperkins and our folks at RAFNet. So here we got what looks like a RAFNet adapter. And what this adapter will do is that it will allow you to hook up your original Super Nintendo controller or any original Super Nintendo accessory that plugs into the Super Nintendo socket. And it converts that into what looks like the Wii connector right there. And it will just convert the control from these controllers into that system down there. So how does it work? Well, we have both the RAFNet and the Hyperkin adapter in here already. Now, to tell you the truth, I have the RAFNet one a long time ago. I just really never use it, considering that the Wii is already over now. So I didn't really have any excuse to use it anymore. But yeah, when I play my classic game on the Wii U, I did use it from time to time. But nowadays it's just using it for the Super Nintendo Classic Edition there. So it works great. And if you're gonna play all your Super Nintendo old school controller on that thing, I think this is the only way to go. But if you can't find or can't afford to get the RAFNet one, Hyperkin made their own version as well. This is the Hyperkin one. So as you can tell, it has the Hyperkin logo up here. Whereas on the RAFNet one, it really doesn't. Also, yeah, the RAFNet one has this clear dongle thingy hanging from the bottom, just like on a typical on your typical classic controllers. Whereas on the Hyperkin one, you don't really need that. And you can always take these clear thing off. All you gotta do is use a screwdriver and take the two bottom things here. I don't know why they even need this, but yeah, these two function exactly the same. So basically what you would do is you would take this adapter, you will open up your Super Nintendo Classic Edition. You can see those two holes down there. You would take the old school controller like this fighter pad here, and basically at the end of the rear there, you just plug this into the adapter. So once you plug it into the adapter like that, you just plug that into the Super Nintendo Classic Edition. And yeah, just like that, you can now play your fighter pad on this thing. And we'll be testing this out soon enough too. So that's basically the ideas of it. And by doing that, your Super Nintendo Classic Edition here is basically like your full functioning Super Nintendo. So yeah, let's give it a whirl and see how these adapters will do for us. So yeah, let's get on to it. Okay guys, so as you can tell, I got the two controllers hooked up to the two adapters now. So the fighter pad is hooked up to the Hyperkin adapter, whereas the original Super Nintendo pad is hooked up to the RAFNet adapter. So here we got the RAFNet one. So let's try to plug those into the Super Nintendo Classic Edition here, and we'll test them out and see how well they play. So let's turn it on and see how it plays like. So as you can tell, it works. That is a little bit too loud. Alright, so everything works the way it should. So let's go try ourselves some Street Fighter 2 here, because with the fighter pad, trying Street Fighter 2 is the way to go. So if we turn on turbo, we just move this up here, and when we turn that on, it'll turn turbo boost to the L here. So whenever we want to hit turbo, we can just hold it and it'll turbo it for us. So yeah, let's try out Street Fighter 2 Turbo and see how it goes. So we are using our original fighter pad. You don't need to change anything. I choose Honda. Honda is best played with these turbo here. So and to show you guys that the turbo does work, I'll just hold it right here. See? So it works. So if you have a fighter pad and you want to use it on the Classic Edition, then yeah, buying these adapter for it is not a bad thing to do. It works actually well. Yeah, I can slap him longer this time too. Yeah. Come on, Dazzy. Yeah. So yeah, these adapters from Hyperkin works great. Now you will be asking, so what is the main purpose, or what is the purpose of having or playing these when the system already came with like its own controllers? Well, the benefit is that now you get to use your accurate controller this time. You don't have to use those newer ones. Not to mention you have a longer cord this time, so you don't having distance with this game with the Classic Edition is no problem now, because now you got a longer wire. You don't have to sit close to the system anymore. Ah. Of course, Ryu is a spammer, so there he goes. So Turbo could beat him like that. Now you were saying, what's the benefit of playing with these when you can just like use the original that came with the system? These allows you to have longer cords, allow you to use your original controllers, and they do allow you to return to the menu. Pretty much all you have to do is press start like multiple times rapidly. So I think if you count 1, 2, 3 and press it real quick, you'll go back to the menu. So 1, 2, 3. just like that. So it's very easy to, I mean, I try all the time. I got the RAFnet adapter a long time ago, and that's usually how I return to the Wii menu. But it works the same way with the Hyperkin one too. Like, if you want to play games like let's say a game like Mario World here. Let's use the fighter pad and go to Mario World. So go here, go 2 players, and then we can move Mario around. That's pretty good. You can steal some of that. Okay, so let's get rid of Mario right there. Let's use the Super Nintendo controller. And if you are Luigi, yeah. And if you press start 3 times on this one, 1, 2, 3, yeah, it will return you to the menu. So it's very easy. All you gotta do is go to the game and then press start 1, 2, 3, and it returns you back to the menu. So basically all you gotta do is 1, 2, 3. There he goes. Sometimes you gotta do it rapidly. So I have to say, with these 2 controllers, everything works the way it should. Let's try one more game here. Let's go to Super Mario Kart. So there it goes. These adapter works just fine. And now I'm using the shoulder buttons this time. It plays just like your typical normal controllers. And if you don't like the shoulder buttons, you can always use the face button too. Oh man, Luigi with his invincibility right there. Anyways, yeah, that's how it works. So, the adapters. So, these adapters, I have to say, if you really want a longer wire for your Super NES Classic Editions, or if you just want to use your classic controllers, your old-fashioned controllers, then having these adapters, it's not that bad. Not that bad of a choice at all. And at least, even though your old controller does not have like menu buttons, you can always just press start multiple times and it'll act like a menu button. So just like that, and then you're back to the menu again. You don't have to even touch the reset buttons on the system. So yeah, so if I have to give a grade for this adapter here, then pretty much I have to say an A+ definitely. I mean, they do what they're supposed to do. They're there to allow you to use these, to allow you to play your old stuff on the new stuff. So if you have like your original Super Nintendo mouse, or maybe your Super Nintendo Super Famicom controllers or something, you can use those, plug it into here, and play it on your SNES Classic Edition as if it was an original Super Nintendo. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Also, one thing that does not work, however, is if you try to use the multi-tab with these on the Super Nintendo Classic Edition, the multi-tab will work, but it will only detect one controller. So even if you have the multi-tap connected to this adapter here, the Super Nintendo Classic Edition will treat one of the socket as player 2, so you will never get to play more than 2 players, even with the multi-tap attached to this. I have tested that before I did this, and I have to say it doesn't work. I tested with Secret Mana on the system as well, so you can move with controller 1 and controller 2, but you can't do it with 3 controller. If you plug in a second controller to the multi-tap, and you plug it into these adapters, and you plug it to the Super Nintendo Classic Edition, both of those controllers, the second one that get plugged in will never work. And sometimes it will just act kind of weird too. So 3-player is not even an option. So anyways, yeah, that's pretty much the only disappointing thing about it. Other than that, I mean, the adapters are great. I mean, it works with every old controller I plug in there with. And you can still use it on the Wii if you want. If you have like a lot of virtual console games, it's a good idea to maybe just use it on the Wii. And unless if you like to play with RetroArch on your SNES Classic, then these will be a good idea for that too. But remember, you can only play 2 players with these adapters, not 3 or anything. So I'm Voan, and that's pretty much all I have to say about these adapters. Hope you guys had a great day.